Sanje Judon Soji Shanam Na Chanchu Fado Dani Gyabso Shi Da Ye Chen Song Gebe Sonam Ge Ento Nam Binje Sanje Drubar Sho Sanje Judon Soji Shanam Na Chanchu Fado Dani Gyabso Shi Da Ye Chen Song Gebe Sonam Ge Dura Binje Sanje Drubar Sho Sanje Judon Soji Shanam Na Chanchu Fado Dani Gyabso Shi Da Ye Chen Song Gebe Sonam Ge Ento Nam Binje Sanje Drubar Sho 돈이 인지 정도 주변 넘는 제재 선세 관계된 된저가 장나가 뭐 텐센자도 소원도 주신 돈 돈주쇼 ramjam sunra wonlanda we menge santa par de jo jo ze we ju we da yan za ba yin sen ze xin yin jue na cha ze no. Okay.
I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddhas, the Dharma, and the highest assembly. By the virtuous merit that I accumulate by practicing giving and other perfections, may I attain the state of a Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings.
Maybe can you close the door?
Okay.
Thank you. So now we are on the verse number 3. 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Chabechin, you son sebi jigdemi bon this. The deal ya tambo subject jig jana. Da shini gi medun cho power damba se di kazan digor ba.
Oh, sorry. So first of all, I think the best way to approach this would be to take a look at the kind of textual outline, the outline of the text, which is presented in Gyaltsab Je's commentary. And it, first of all, talks about having two aspects to the, what's the niba? Do you kind of niba? Something gomber damba.
Shini gi medun cho power damba. Niba tangbo disgwe. Shini dugu be junse.
Oh, yeah. So it comes from the right from the beginning where it talks about the instructions on cultivating meditative absorption, and then that has two outlines. One is the reason why it's necessary to achieve shamatha, and then it also says then it gives, and the second one is instructions on how to abandon the contradictory conditions for attaining shamatha, or what literally the opposite class of the things which are counter to shamatha. So this outline this outline has as its first part abandoning the kind of unconducive things for achieving shamatha.
Now the most important where Shantideva is giving the special instruction to us is that having single pointed meditation, bringing the focus is necessary. So most people can understand that. And then when you have to make a very strong decision, biologically, from your mind, it comes out saying, give me some time to think and reflect on that. So that means if you want to be careful, then you need to bring the focus. So Shantideva is saying that is very natural, but that only just bringing focus and a single point of meditation is not enough. So that's why here's in the first, the outline, Shini
Mm.
How do you
The
translate?
reason why it's necessary to achieve or to accomplish samatha.
Yeah, he's not saying we need to achieve shamatha. He's saying for one purpose, one important purpose, we need to have the focus. So that we need to think a little bit, because many of us, when we get a shamatha or having a good focus, then maybe the whole world is going crazy, but you can stay strong. That is the, I think, idea of many people. Yes, we can stay strong, but for how long? Because the Buddha himself said, even you go to the peak of the samsara, the mind, but then at the end, it has to come back to the original form. So that is a great teaching. How much you put effort, and then you think that it's for an example. Some people study very hard, and then maybe did amazing homework and examination, and then got a degree or one highest level from the study. And then there will be one day stroke.
Yeah.
Right? Stroke comes, and then he couldn't remember anything. So that it is very kind of a waste. Don't we feel that? It's a shame, like, wow, that guy is brilliant, but now this thing came, and then now he's kind of like he cannot do much now. He cannot think, or whatever he studied, it become kind of waste. Similarly, just trying to bring a focus or a shamatha is not that wonderful, because for a certain period of time, the person can get a kind of a pliancy or having a good focus and a special kind of bliss or kind of a relaxation of mind, and the physical relaxation is there. And for like an hour, 6, 7 hours, no problem. But then one kind of a fault, 추주지기 소속이 니마 파자 가와샤요네 딘디지기 비엔체체 삼대냐면지.
So somehow from some corner of that, there's a kind of fault which comes from some corner of that, probably due to laying down some kind of unconducive imprint in the past, which causes the concentration to deteriorate.
So we have saying we got the endless, beginningless. We've been in the different kind of forms. And the peak of the samsara, which is called kashagote,
The peak of cyclic existence, the highest of the formless realms.
At that level, we got more than shamatha. We got something like
meditative absorption, or
so the difference is even
the Sanskrit is dhyana.
Dhyana.
Dhyana. Or not
Dhyana.
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 Dhyana said, right?
Dhyana.
Dhyana. So when somebody has a shamatha, the person can get some kind of attachment, but it's very, 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 very not kind of manifest, very kasure.
Because of not implicit. That's the word.
What's a good word for
it's
settled?
Not suppressed. Yes, dormant.
Dormant?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kopalan, yeah.
Yes,
dormant. Yeah.
It's
not manifest, but it's kind of there in a kind of dormant state.
And then it is confusing because it's tricky, because one people who get the shamatha, and then he feels like no more attachment, no more anger. So then even something is terrible things are happening, that person, he's focused on the meditation very strong. He can get kind of not a kind of attached, maybe we can say attached to his meditation. So, and then he feels like, now I feel so happy, no more suffering. So that is before going into the meditation, before taking this kind of sort of therapy, one should really investigate. If I go so deep into this, then what is the advantage and disadvantages? Most people just, when they just hear about shamatha, and then they just go like, wow, sounds amazing, I really need that. But then they don't have kind of capacity to ask, what after that? So the great Shantideva, he said, the purpose here, he is writing this 8th chapter. He wanted to remind us, shamatha is important because vipassana is more important. Because without a shamatha, vipassana cannot be achieved. So now what is vipassana? He is going to explain a little bit of here. So this is such a very relevant teaching for us, because most of us, they don't give very detailed teaching on vipassana, and more people just go focus on shamatha. And even they talk about vipassana, sometimes it doesn't make much sense. What is vipassana and what is shamatha? What are the differences? So now we should ask ourselves, why do I want a shamatha or the single content meditation? And that it is helpful, because when we start meditating from tomorrow, or maybe already we started, we should ask ourselves, why do I want to meditate? So one good answer is to make my mind stronger. That's for sure. But then what do you mean making mind stronger? One good answer for this is to kind of tackle or to overcome the suffering. That is how we can see how sharp our meditation or our practices. Like if you have sharpened your knife, then where you want to check whether whether it's sharp or not. We use that on tomato, right? So it goes on your hand. It's not really good sign. You just got like tomato slice without no kind of a. Because it's very
completely clean through.
clean. Because
Clean through.
Clean through. That's how it's. Similarly, it is necessary that with the shamatha only, we cannot tackle anything. It's more like you have kind of you got like a very empty house. You have a space now. But the beauty is when you start decorating. And then you are using the space very well. So having a space means that you can build something there. And so from there, now having the foundation, the mind very strong, and then you will use this mind to meditate on wisdom, which is the 9th chapter. So now it's more like whenever when we talk about the 8th chapter related to the 8th chapter, we always have to get like it's kind of a preparation for the 9th chapter. So now let's look at the verse number 2nd once again. Luda semne embayi number inwa michungo tewe jikden pangjashin number topo yonsu toru.
However, through solitude of body and mind, no distractions will occur. Therefore, I should forsake the worldly life and completely discard distorted conceptions.
Now, the first two sentences talking more about shamatha, the foundation, the space. And then second one, the tewe jikden pangjashin number topo yonsu. Which one is that in English?
It's the one that says, therefore I should forsake the worldly life. Second two lines of verse 2, therefore I should forsake the worldly life and completely discard distorted conceptions.
Number 2, okay.
Yeah, it's the second half of verse 2.
Yeah. Therefore I should forsake the worldly
Mistake.
life and completely discard
Distorted conceptions.
Distorted
The number
conception.
distorted the sawanalayomo. Number It just says conceptions in the root text. It doesn't say anything about distortion. Yeah, so this is very important. This sense of how we completely discard these, unconstructed conceptions. I think it.
So we have to keep in our mind the great because Shantideva Kamala Shila's I think the most advanced and the one of the more the
Detailed resource
and resource of the shamatha. It comes from the Gomrim stages of meditation. There, Kamala Shila said, the person who has a sign or who really wanted to practice shamatha, automatically he has to have that
So you have to the sort of qualities of the desirous objects. You have to be able to see through them to see the kind of faults that lie within them. To see the faults that lie within those things which we see as having desirous things having quality. You have to see through that.
So as our Ram is called desire Ram. So from the morning up to now, if you look how we spend our life, we run after through the desire. Whether it's positive or negative doesn't matter, but it's a desire there. That includes why we all are here, also desire. That's why we wanted to have a pure desire. That's why we made a special motivation, set of motivation before the class. But there's a desire. So that the person who really wants shamatha is that person ultimately has kind of a has a feeling of more
to be protection as well. So to kind of push them away. To push these things which look as the desirous objects which look as though they have qualities, but to push them to keep them at bay actually would be the best way to say.
So this is not only Buddhist techniques or something, but like if you look at Hindu, the great masters, once they wanted to have a meditation, so then their way of doing meditation is they won't live in a very fancy or luxury life or business. They wanted to just wander around and just remember our teachers said in a class saying, the practitioner, real practitioner, when the practice becomes quite stable, then the practitioner will think, now I wanted to, my way of thinking is separate from the samsaric life. I want to think, because my thinking is completely different than them. They are always going under the desire, but I wanted to come above the desire. I wanted to control my desire. So that's why once you feel like, I want this, and then he will look into his mind and say, I don't need this. And then every time you stay, because as a beginner, right now, whatever we wish to practice or to have this kind of a little bit of feeling of renunciation coming up like a bubble, water bubble, and then it comes and goes so quickly, that kind of thing, because it's not stable. So they wanted to stay away from whatever this gives you a kind of a obstacle to your practice. So that's why during the time of retreat, you are not supposed to have internet. You're not supposed to go into the retreat with your cell phone. And then plus whatever normally you're doing, you have to discipline yourself. That is one kind of the what we call it, a commitment to yourself from your teacher. So the person who really wants to have a shamatha, like let's say in 3 months, And now that person, whether he's a Buddhist or a non-Buddhist, his first task is to to have a control over his desire. And that is merit.
Merit, yeah. Accumulation of merit.
Accumulation.
Accumulation, it's literally accumulation of merit.
저는 신에게 초,
음.
신에게 초 라비가블이야. 저는 공부님 거서 신에게 초 라비가블이야. 당고될래야. 네, 더버 총마. 어디 송요.
So what when it talks in the Kamalashila stages of meditation about what's the sort of thing that you have to sort of start accumulating in order to benefit your shamatha practice, it's initially this reducing of our desires. That's the kind of, the thing that you start to accumulate in order to help you practice.
So then it's more about bringing the awareness and checking your mind, how it gets the distraction very quickly. So then once, I love the teaching of His Holiness. One time, I think it's he was interviewed by BBC or CNN. I'm not sure. There's a program, and then I think it's England thing. This Pierce something.
Morgan.
I'm not sure. He asked His Holiness that you meet lots of people, and lots and lots of people over the world, and then when you are a man, and when you see a beautiful woman, and don't you feel any desire or anything? He asked that. Straightforward. Tibetans won't do that. So he asked, and then His Holiness looked, of course, attachment is there. Of course, there's a desire. But then what I do is, this is very good teaching. He never tells this publicly in a Tibetan community, but he sent message very directly. He said, well, okay, beautiful lady, I'm a man. Okay, maybe the desire is to have a sex or have a relationship. Then maybe this relation continues, lots of children, and then lots of suffering continues. Oh, it goes very quickly. And then he thought, like, no way. Then it comes back, and then I come to realize how my life is so happy. I'm very happy with my life. That is one technique. So it's more like sending your mind, go with the distraction, but don't act it, like bring the practice, but just let it go and then pulling it back. So this technique is already taught by Buddha. He said in one of the sutra, it's more like putting a leash on the mad elephant. I think that leash could be like a chain, right?
Yes,
Huge chain.
up wild.
And then you couldn't let this, he said, if you let the mad elephant go away, and then it will destroy so many things, beautiful things and bad things. But if you can leash the elephant, but not so tightly, but just giving a space. Oh, now it's beautiful. Okay. Okay. That's good. I can see them and they can see me. That's good. Okay. So people can hear. Okay. It's gone. It's gone. See there? Okay. Okay. No problem. Okay. So, with this of teaching of the Buddha, it's very helpful for us. Sometimes what we do is we try to control our mind a lot. But that we can't. Because the mind has its nature to flow as a river to go. And then we don't want the mind to go and to just to
flow all
to
over the
flow
place.
over place. It is very unhealthy. So the most powerful is letting the mind go, think whatever you want, but then
Bring draw it back.
Draw it back. That's
Draw it
more
back.
powerful. That's very powerful. And then thinking like, well, I have done this several times. I have done this kind of thing many times, but I don't feel essence. I don't feel the real happiness in there. And then you feel like so relaxed. So this kind of training, His Holiness, what he said in an interview, also Buddha said this, and now here in the last two sentences of the last two lines of the second verse carry same meaning. Now when we look at the third verse, okay. Chakri chidan yesola sebe jikden mibonte tewe teda yung pongla kebe teda jebr chans. Third one.
Worldly life is not forsaken because of attachment to people, and due to craving for material gain and the like. Therefore, I should entirely forsake these things, for this is the way in which the wise behave.
다 디난로래 야 subject chebina niba shini ki midun chopang asech diridwa.
So then, in terms of the outline, which contains starts with these verses, it says abandoning the opposing factors to karma abiding is the sort of main outline of this section.
Shini ki midun chopang as. These outlines are very helpful because if we should really bring our we
should really bring our pay attention.
Pay attention, because if you really wanted to fix your mind, or what is the best way to say that? So
to really develop or to change our mind in a positive way.
So we are not going to make a new mind. We are going to make the mind which already we have. And there is some mistaken in there. So to fix this, first we need to find where is this mistake. Like this is one of my favorite example. Sometimes in India, what we do is we hurry make a new house, and the water pipelines. We don't pay pay attention, and then house is finished. Maybe 2-3 years later, we find water leakage, and it takes so much time to find where is that. So it is necessary to find where is this real mistake. This is the first thing if you wanted to fix it. You cannot just taking out whole building, but to find out where is that. And once you find this mistake, the good thing, first good news is like you will be the most happiest person. Like when we talk about fixing or bringing a development in the mind, first we need to recognize where is that problem, and that problem is my problem or not. Make this connection. Most practitioners, including myself, what we don't do is we just listen to the teacher and say, the great master is saying, this is the problem. Then we just look at him and say, he might be right. No, that's not good enough. You have to really connect why this is a problem. Like when we say a desire is a problem, attachment is a problem, we kind of say with our teacher, but we never feel with the teacher. We just think like, oh yes, yeah, desire. But when you really think this kind of problem right now, what we are really having, started from the desire. And then once you really see it, go around, check with everybody, including yourself. There's no suffering which is not connected with the desire. And that desire is not connected with this grasping of I. So our first practice, that's for the moment we have to forget, or rest of our practice we can just leave aside. But our most priority, most important, is to find where is this leakage. And then spending quality of time in there, it is the beginner's way of bringing the foundation of the, I think, our whole practice. You back there, you can hear? Okay, good. Next time I'm getting a speaker. Okay. So the other outline, it says Shinegi Medun Jupama. Jigdengi, the Niche, Jigdengi Dunzu Pamada, Chinji Log Namdo Bangos. Datango, Jigdengi Dunzu Pamatilla. Chakbe Chidania Sola, Sebe Jigdomi Ponte, Dilosarba, Teve, Dita Yong Bang like Kebet the Jabber Chas.
So so within this outline of the text, where it says abandoning the opposing factors to calm abiding, it has two subdivisions of that. One is abandoning distractions, or probably more something like abandoning the kind of frivolous activities or frivolous entertainment, or the comings and goings of life is maybe a more accurate translation. And then the second one is abandoning unrealistic thinking, which is literally these kind of inverted ways of thinking about things in the opposite way. And then this verse, the third verse, which we're looking at, where it says, worldly life is not forsaken because of attachment to people and due to craving for material gain and the like. Therefore, I should entirely forsake these things, for this is the way in which the wise behave. So this is within the section on abandoning kind of distractions or frivolous kind of activities.
That's the deal Daviness Lava, that is Pigeon Pegana Lagi. Chapicha, and Yasola, Savage Dimi Bondi, the Sheldana. That is Dadan, the good Shambala dinner, Nans, Simjana Chavichida, Chi, nearby the Udita, this Simjana Chapa said, Chi Simjana Chapa, Mashapichi, Dadan, Malsi to Maral Chapa.
Yeah.
The gives into Nye said, Nye said, Nye, any Simjan Senator, Nye Pungu Senator, Tela Chavichida, the Tambudi.
Yeah.
Anybody tell it any, Any chi nyabada kudisu tsuzu jabala soba sebi jigdengi shenba mebonde tewe shenbe gyudada pongo chawo usa. Nanda digi sigorta jigdenli chakpa sengi digi
Yeah.
아니 가두이나야 다단 다기리 셴베기
Mm.
딜려당 토고 말레스
Yeah.
다 차과 려당 세디 딜려당 비트다레스
So then the commentary to this verse, which Gyaltsabje's commentary to the verse reads, in dependence on the grasping for I and mine, one is attached to the inner objects of sentient beings, and due to that, craving for the outer objects of gain and praise, fame, etc., one does not give up the grasping for the fleeting world. So hence one should abandon the causes for these attachments. So that's the commentary. So when we talk about the inner object of sentient beings, what we're really referring to here is the sense of, as it says in the text, the sense of grasping at I and mine. So I is literally at ourselves, and then mine could be taken in different aspects. One to mean, our own aggregates, the aggregates possessed by us, or other people who are associated with us. So sentient beings associated with us. It's that kind of thing. Then this. What is then talked about in the commentary as being external, so outer to us, are things like praise and gain, fame, praise and gain, these kind of things. So these are the ways, because of the craving for both of these kind of things, which always stem back to the grasping to I and mine. This is the reason why we don't give up our grasping to this fleeting worldly life. And therefore, it says in the text, these are the things that we must forsake in order to allow us to let. So the center of it is this sense of grasping at I and grasping at mine, and because we're unable to sort of let go of those, to release our grip on those, then we're unable to forsake the things which the things of the the things of the fleeting world or the worldly life.
So now if you highlight these lines saying what are the biggest obstacle that we cannot bring the focus of the mind. This explanation is very special in a Buddhist way, because a non-Buddhist, they won't explain like this. But here, when it talks about the root of all the suffering, it comes from the grasping, and that special grasping, which is the grasping of the center of the world, which is not other than I. That is 100% sure. So now, just thinking about this gives us kind of a hope. But normally when this is way of our studying, but we put this aside, and the normal way of looking at the problem is problem from outside. And then we are trying to do, and what normally we spend time to fix the problem is try to fix other people. And complaints like, why he's doing that? Why he's not doing this? It's never been like, this problem happened, I try to fix myself, and there is hope. Even though I cannot fix it, there is a hope, there is a peace. I think this is the only way to fix myself. Then with this good understanding, then you just look at the outer world, then you think there's hope to fix others now. But we don't do that. Mostly we studied here like, oh, the problem of the root of the problem of this is called I, and this, And this is the business of Buddhist business. And when you are on the cushion near to the altar or somewhere you are in the mood to do a little practice, you do this. And when you, each and every time when you spend with your friends and have a quality time with your enemy, we, we don't use this anymore, right? And the sign of this way of thinking is so powerful. This way, why I'm saying powerful, profound. That's what I'm trying to say. Profound, so profound. The meaning of the profound can be, we can use this relatively, we can use for many meanings. Like one great master said, a death is so profound because ordinary beings, when they first hear this somebody's death, and then the first reaction will be, how, when, how can that be? That is the one sign. It's so profound. That's one way of looking into this. So here is so profound because we don't want to relate this to our normal life. This way of practice thinking like all this problem, when we look at the situation of the world, what is going so crazy out there, we think, why don't they do this? Why they can do like this? We try to fix other people's problem, but we are not just thinking the same problem you have here, which you think you are right, but you might be wrong. But it's under the sway of the negative emotions, and which is the cause. The main cause is this rooted I, this mistaken mind. Then you look at this, oh, all this mistake has come from that. Then when you look at this and you find this mistaken mind and you wanted to get out from this mistaken mind, that's a kind of liberation, or we sometimes call it the wish to get out from samsara, renunciation. That's how we describe it. And then you just look at others like, oh, their problem is the same as mine. So the only thing is, if they could understand much better of this, how this mind and I is the reality of that, and then that's the hope. And then wanted to help them is the great compassion. So similarly here, this 8th chapter, when great Shantideva wants us to bring, I wanted to put you like this, give you a picture of, he wanted to give us a weapon. The weapon, that person whose mind is stable. If the person's mind is not stable, he's not a stable person. If you give him a weapon, he might harm himself. Similarly, Shantideva showed that weapon is so precious. You, with these techniques, with these logics and reasons and practice, it's the only way to cure our problem. So he wants to give this explanation. So in order to do that, we need to make our mind much stronger. So that's a hint. The first two rules of the third verse. 차베 치다녀서다 세베지 데미 본데 우디도 세발을 소비 신지 미 본데 텔레신 비 규디 뻥을 차오.
Oh yeah, yeah. And so Diru, and so it says is it called the thing?
디르레디 다라 딥시 교션디 걸.
Yeah, so just again the first two lines of the third verse. Worldly life is not forsaken because of attachment to people and due to craving for material gain and the like. And then I think you read the
This third and fourth, I haven't
No.
explained yet. So now when you go back to your home, one of the best homework you will ever get is how this is so relevant to us. And one person could just go through this and then think like, doesn't make any sense. That's good. Because something is working here. Most dangerous way of studying will be like, you will just look at it like, okay. And then completely, he doesn't care what is there. Then this book is just a book. It does not give you anything. But when you just read it, you have to go into this. Like when it's the same thing when we read novels like Game of Thrones. You just go into the character and the taste, even it's fake. It's like what it's called. Fake is quite a strong word. Fiction?
Yes, it's fiction.
What's
yeah.
that?
It's fiction. Yeah.
Fantasy?
Yeah.
Fictionary? Imaginary. Imaginary is, I think fictionary is better. It's more like. So, but even it's just a fiction, fictional. But if you go deeply inside with this character, you feel something wonderful. You got all this feeling, positive, negative, and all sad and happy, all the moments. Even the character, the real one, didn't get anything. You might get more. Right? So similarly here, this is very relevant because most of us has to use all the techniques to fix our problem. Only this one is left. So now we have to go through this and then just read it and then contemplate and then bring like why this could be the one, why this all the problem of the world just we can wait. My problem, this is my world, my problem, my thing here is most necessary here. If something is burning out there, you don't care much, but you, for your personal thing, is something happening, and then you will worry much more stronger. So that means it's more relevant to you now. So try to link this. My teacher, sometimes he will use this saying like, don't try to fix thing like these problem all come from the past life, and then this is why we are suffering. This is too far away. If you wanted to go like this, first, don't just jump like this. First, you have to make this life suffering and this life's clinking, try to make a connection. And then you will see with this mistaken mind, how much suffering is coming out. And then automatically you will think like, well, I haven't done that kind of mistake in my life, but this kind of mistake might be coming from my past life, because I might have done something, because I'm the
Recipient.
what's that?
Recipient.
Recipient, and that means the causes is already there.
Complete.
It's complete. So with this logic, it goes like this. But don't just jump like completely. But first, you have to see this life suffering and this life some problems so manifest. It's sometimes like, yeah, I know maybe this is I did make a quick judgment, or maybe this is maybe I shouldn't say something like this. All this sort of thing leaves some kind of a problem. So try to connect this. And then the most powerful is you don't want to harm anybody. Maybe there's some crazy people who want to do that, but we are not that. We are the person, even though we don't want to harm, but some kind of harm, it ultimately comes from us. And then our best excuse to apologize to other people is only one thing, saying, I don't have an intention to do that. But once I get angry, this comes out. So this is under the sway of, it's a real thing. Right? So under the sway of what? Now you need to answer. If your friend is a very good friend or very smart friend, he should ask you how this under the sway of this anger, but that is not you.
Mhm.
So that's a very good question. Normally we don't ask this question. So when we say it's under the sway of something, and that means no control. And if there's no control, and then your excuse is good enough. And we don't say how this you cannot control it. Then it's a big question. Then it started with this mistaken mind of the reality of I, and then the kasati, law.
So things, the kind of inverted way of clinging on to that.
So how this
Grasping.
make this connection in the entering to the middle way? It's very helpful. So now then, if you look down the last two line, 대외대다 용반은 개외대다 제벌자. So 개바세지 도디나라.
So the second two lines of the verse 3 read, therefore I should entirely forsake these things, for this is the way in which the wise behave. So it very clearly points out the word wise, those who are wise.
Wise. That wise, 저장가 디 랑돌을 켜봤어야지.
Oh yeah.
디 랑돌을 켜봤어야지. 아니 디리샤 신의 공고얘기 아니 균생 가르치는 공부인 바 슬라드 선배. 아니 말아 디르도 어때 차베 왕게 나랑 까니 먹으신 것도 랑라 차바 신라 차바 디 왕게 아니 가리용도 쓰나 아니 인구도 꾸디도 저로 차체 아니 가난 가추죠 돈도 주죠 단다 인지게 센시티브 세트리 차그도스 어디 용해하게 싸워디 차과를 투샤 대야 차과디 차과만 보여베 나로네 달을 차베 다차들 된 용도스 다 달을 차베 다차디 빵war라 아니 빵비체도 니 신이 공부이 나나 아니 랑돌을 켜봐 어디스
So this this wisdom, or this being wise, what are we wise in relation to? So in Geshe-Je's commentary, it mentions that we should be wise in relation to those things that we should abandon and those things that we should cast away. So the kind of activities. So in a sense, this also, we can draw that back to the initial kind of question, which comes from one of the earlier outlines, which talks about what is the reason that it's necessary to cultivate karma binding shamatha, and what's the reason that we do that, and then it talks about this kind of sequence of how we're under the sway of attachment, and this attachment is an attachment which is in both in relation to ourselves and in relation to others. And then we have a kind of but within, you know, so there are many forms of attachment, but then if we really look deeper under that and into this kind of broader spectrum of self and others, we see that the underlying that is a kind of a more central source, which is the attachment, the kind of attachment to ourselves, not and that is that sort of underpins all of it. And so from there, what the reason, so then you know, to meditate properly on shamatha, we need to have we need to be able to become wise. I'll just read I'll just read Gyaltsabje's comments just to these last. He says, therefore, to abandon these cravings for outer and inner objects, they who are skilled should investigate and contemplate as above. But actually, what it is the because we need the skill of being able to know the knowledge of what we have to take up and the knowledge of what we have to abandon in order to help us do this.
So it is a very simple teaching. Now this, if you look at this verse saying, if you are wise, that we can also understand in a kind of connotation of the wise can be if you love yourself, if you really wanted to take care of yourself. And then we have to just investigate inside how, even though you don't want the suffering, but then how you cling to the suffering, and how all the suffering really comes, all this feeling of suffering is unwanted feeling. That unwanted feeling is, it's not free. Somehow we have paid something, and then it comes with it, like Amazon package. You order for this, and you got lots of beautiful thing at first, looks wonderful, and you tear everything and down, and that garbage, huge garbage, yeah. But for the first, you feel like, wow, that's amazing, and you wanted only this, and all the rest, and then you have to take it out and to throw it somewhere, and not in the West. A big a car or the vehicle will just come and pick up your garbage. You have to take care, then you will just complain why Amazon has to do all this. But you paid for this. That's the business, isn't it? It's not free. You paid for this. Similarly, you don't want any suffering. You have the suffering. You are experiencing it. And now it's really to reserve a time for yourself and then see how I paid that. And you don't need to pay that again. In order to have the happiness, you don't need to do this. You can do something else. So this first problem for us is not to fix the problem. First is to find the problem. That's what we need to put the priority of our practice. So unless we can feel there is a problem, that is the problem, there is the problem, if you don't have faith, this kind of faith, and then whatever practice you do or teachings you receive, it is just like a it is a kind of a rain. Lately in Dharamsala, we're getting lots of rain, which is not that useful. Bring more problems. So similarly, we get lots of teachings, and then especially you people here in Dharamsala coming for the real essence of teaching of Dharma. And His Holiness always give you like very simple two things. Like my practice is very simple, bodhicitta and emptiness. That's only He's saying. He never just go like very high level, top level practice. He will never say that. So He says this, and then He will say, "Oh, having this, even though I went through lots of suffering, but I'm the most happiest person. I always smile. You look at me, I always smile. You saw Dalai Lama very angry face? No. I always smile." So he is trying to give this kind of like people just coming to him to investigate about his smile. But we are just getting just a smile only. But we don't go deeply how he can smile, how he can like be super happy. So now the secret behind His Holiness Dalai Lama's smile is this. He can look into his problem, and now he can fix his problem. And then he does not cling to this problem. That's the beauty. So people who wanted to practice shamatha, and the purpose of practice shamatha is to bring to lessen your grasping. Lessons and do what? Reduce your grasping. That's better. To reduce your grasping. And then don't just go with, oh, I can reduce immediately. No way. But then when you have a family issue, you are brave enough to see how this mind works. And then you think, oh, this has to come. There should be the problem because this way of thinking is there. Like saying, there is a smoke because there was a fire before. This way of connection. And like Great Master saying, somebody said to one great Kadamba practitioner, saying that somebody passed away and somebody is sick. And he said, yes, that person can get sick. That person can get died, can die because he has this form. Very simple answer. So he's really strong enough to look at the reality. So now our world is not really going in a very gentle. It's becoming very, very crazy lately. I don't know, maybe what will be next year's bad news. So whole world is going crazy now. So now I think our practice should be also go much more stable, stronger. And then it is not to fix the problem first. First, you need to fix your problem. And you are the person who can stay in the middle. That's the most important. And in order to stay in the middle, you should be like a bridge. How strong the water goes, but the bridge stays. But the bridge is not strong enough, the water will take the bridge away. So you need to act like a very strong bridge. So in order to do that, I think we need to have we shouldn't become too sensitive, and we should be very strong enough to look at the situation, hear, contemplate, and don't make quick judgment. But then you will just bring so much compassion to others, because you can connect the dots, because others, they don't have this, and you should feel super happy because you have found this technique. Do you know what, when I say connecting the dot, that's really necessary. Right now we connect the dots here and there. We're not connecting dot from this to here and this to there. So this is what we need. This is what we need. And then one day we don't need a piece of papers, we have all here. So so we stop here today. Oh, 6:10. Okay. Okay. So as I said before, please read the verse number 3, and if you find a commentary, just try to read and then make it personal. Make it, this is putting yourself in there. Don't just look at it, but just don't be with the sentence and feel it. It is not necessary when you look at the text, it should make sense to you. First, curiosity, doubt should be there. And more doubt, more better answer you will get. That's the price. So then you can connect the dots. And then this is how you can help others. Okay, thank you everybody for listening to my boring talk. Okay, let's do the dedication. Whichever is over there, so somebody can do it. Oh, Kelsey, you can do it.
Having thoroughly investigated and accord with all that I have heard day and night for the 4 reasons, my own reflection on these topics of contemplation, may this discernment sever all doubts. And the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful Chenrezig Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities of the grounds and paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. I fully dedicate all these virtues to be able to train just like the hero Manjushri, who knows reality, and just like Samantabhadra as well. I fully dedicate all my roots of virtue with the dedication praised as the best by all the Bandhiyan victorious ones of the 3 times, in order to have good conduct. With my heart going out with great compassion, in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid.
Okay, thank you everyone. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Grazie. Grazie
Thank
della